Hello, people of the world and beyond. Today, we are going to be talking about clairaudience. Clairaudience is the ability to have clear hearing of certain energy, vibrations, or frequencies that are translated typically into words. Now, some spirits, um, they don't communicate through language. Some of them communicate through imagery, and that's how they'll talk to you instead. So it'd be more important when you're talking to those spirits, in this specific case, if you had clairvoyance instead of clairaudience. But of course, I suppose it doesn't really matter because your body translates the energy into words sometimes, most of the time. If they really want to communicate to you, then it will. Now, this topic is interesting because I've done a lot of research into it. So, most people who are clairvoyant and clairaudient are actually schizophrenic, and that surmounts to about 1% of the population, I believe, of America. It's probably a little bit higher in the world population, but it is a very, very rare condition where you hear voices on the outside instead of on the inside. But clairaudience is clairaudience. If you have clarity of mind, you can trust some of the voices that you hear inside your head if they're communicating to you at a time of ritual or a specific time period when you're listening to it. So, um, yeah, so people who have clairaudience, it's kind of like that movie with Whoopi Goldberg, where she's hearing ghosts in her head, but it's not actually in her head. She hears it on the outside. That's a perfect example of clairaudience. And she can hear ghosts and she can communicate their needs to people. It's also contributed to being a medium in a lot of respects. Um, that's without the channeling or possession part of it. It's just listening and hearing clearly. But a lot of times, the voices get difficult to understand and to hear because there is the energy of the collective consciousness that is also affecting our day-to-day life. So you may hear voices or have thoughts of things that majority of the population is thinking about, like Kim Kardashian, or what that one girl did on that one social media site that nobody really can forget until the next hour, and the next person does that, and the next person does that. Um, so yeah, the collective consciousness definitely has a lot to do with clairaudience. I mean, there's definitely your brain is like a ham radio. It just picks up off of frequencies that are around you all the time. So depending upon what level of consciousness you are, or which dimension that you're primarily in most of the time, will also depict upon what you hear. If you're too high frequency, then you will hear less of the collective consciousness because they are vibrating at most times as a collective a lower frequency, unless of course you like those sort of things, which is perfectly fine. Um, so yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting skill to have, absolutely. Personally, I have heard voices on the outside, and it is very interesting. And the feelings that I was experiencing during that time were primarily fear, which dictated which voices came through and which ones didn't. So there's that. I guess I could throw that little tidbit out, but it's very rare. It's even rarer within the 1% of people who are clairaudient. that are people that can actually control hearing the outside voices. They can put up a barrier, or they can choose what to hear and what not to hear. And that just boggles my mind that people can just turn it off or turn it on. Which, in some respects, is pretty cool if you think about it. You know, truly. But, so let's see, what else? Necromancy. So, necromancy, which most people think, well, the stigma around necromancy is that it's a black art or it's dark magic. Magic does not punish evil. And I quote, actually, magic does not punish evil, nor does it reward good deeds. So, it's a paraphrase. Anyways, it's not black magic at all. Sometimes the rituals were a little unorthodox, using a skull or incense or part of the deceased. Now, most times it was used to communicate with people in the family or relatives or ancestors. But it is definitely not a black art. It is definitely goes back down to being a medium, except there's different parts to it. Like I was saying earlier, with channeling energy, possessions, which can be rare sometimes, but you'll bring in certain frequencies from them being on a different plane of existence, technically, or sometimes it would be the astral realm that they're in, and you can call to them, and they can come down and give you the answers that you need. But it's hard to do that without protection, because it's like a Ouija board. Any spirit could come by and just say, "Yep, this is good. I'm taking this," or I'm taking this opportunity to possess this person, or do what I need to do, you know? So there's that. And it can also go into the skill of telepathy. Not so much, but having the ability to decipher incoming frequencies can also sometimes be used as the ability to take in the frequencies of other people, not just the collective consciousness as a whole, but sometimes people that we're really connected to, sometimes people that we really care about, that we're really emotionally bonded to or have a soul contract with. We can sometimes read their mind, and it's not as grand as people think it is, but sometimes it does happen. Some people are more adept at it than others, and it's the same thing as any other skill. I mean, if you practice, you'll be good at it. If you practice telepathy, or you want to hear what other people are saying, I suggest looking at clairaudience. See how you can open up yourself vibrationally to the frequencies of being able to hear other vibrations. So, there you go. That, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, is the skill of clairaudience. Have a good night. Happy New Year's. Good luck in the years to come.